afternoon and welcome to the Adventure Time BMO discussion. With me today I have a bunch of Adventure Time friends, including Chan, Crowned, a user by the name of Dumb.
No! That's just cheeky. My name's Dom.
A user by the name Dom, but you've called yourself Dumb for some reason.
I hate it.
Tulip.
It's 2020. We're done with the self-deprecation, dude. Change it to cool and smart. Change your username to cool and smart.
I'll do that right now.
All right.
So, the first question I wanted to ask
you didn't
yourself...
introduce Tulip.
I did say Tulip.
Yeah.
Tulip, introduce yourself.
You said my name, but you said it last because you went on a diatribe about Dom.
Okay, so introduce yourself then, Tulip.
Hi, I'm Tulip.
Yay! Hi,
Let's
Tulip.
play videos and stuff. Hello.
What we're here to talk about today is the Adventure Time Distant Lands special. It's been 2 years since Adventure Time has ended, and we've all been anticipating this special. I don't think that there was a need for any further Adventure Time episodes because the series just ended so well. But
Sorry.
you don't have to fight me yet, Chan. We'll get there.
We're still at the introduction, Chan.
Okay.
But I'm really excited for these episodes coming forward. So I wanted to see, what are your general impressions of the episode that just aired, BMO?
It's good! Are we taking turns?
Yeah, are we doing turns, or how's it gonna work?
Well, tell you what, Chan, what did you think?
So I have a very biased opinion, because I'm a very big fan, but I loved it. I thought it was adorable. I thought it was really well paced, and I was really nervous about it, obviously, because I'm like, if this sucks, that means that the next 3 episodes will probably also suck, and then it would have to be like a long, slow burn of 2 years waiting for them to come out. But the fact that it's like a new crew mostly, and they captured the spirit, in my opinion, so well was really awesome.
Oh yeah, that's right. Do you mean that the people working on it were different to the people who worked on it before?
Yeah, like Adam Muto and I think 2 or 3 other people were like, from the old the old crew of the show, but like it's just mostly like an entirely new set of people. So I was like, how are they gonna do that? But they did it, and they did it well, folks.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there. It very much felt like an Adventure Time episode, irregardless of the quality of the episode, come to think of it. So,
oh my God. Do you have an opinion?
I have what?
Do you have an opinion to share?
I have a bunch of opinions, so I wanted to ask you guys first, so that I don't say my opinion first and then mislead the discussion, basically. So, what about you, Dom?
Well, I was looking
Oh no,
for
I'm gonna go last because my name's alphabetically last. I'll have to come up with something different than what everyone else said. Oh no.
I'm trying to look for the Reddit AMA. Does anyone know where it is?
Give me a second, I'll find it.
Check your comment history.
Yeah, no, oh, wait, is it this one? No, it's not. I'm logged into a different account. So I can't check my comment history. Is it this one? No, it's not.
Let me check. I have mine on my history.
Give it to me, because I want to jump off of what Chan just said.
Also, obviously, spoiler warning, I guess, for the video. Here, I'll send it to you.
Thank you.
It has 420 upvotes, so that's pretty cool. Here you go.
Hey! Okay,
oh, no,
so
never mind.
Let me look for my comment. Okay, so I did asks, I did make a message in this Reddit AMA, and then I read there, while watching, I really loved how the writing, especially the dialogue, felt so classic and so adventure timey. And Adam Mudo replied and saying, "Thank you. We had the same writing room, so that probably helped keep continuity." And he said, "If it felt like classic AT, that's thanks to Hannah, Anna, Laura, and Iggy." So I think they had like more than a couple of people who were like the same.
Yeah, when it says same writing room, does that mean, the people in the room? Because I thought, that those were different, and that was sort of a thing.
Yeah, I don't know what like same writing room means. Is it like the same people? Does he have the same?
Or
like,
literally,
process?
they were doing it in the same room.
He said same.
Maybe.
He said same brains after it. But I mean, either way, I think what I meant mostly was that it was Well, I guess this one was storyboarded by Hannah and Adam were on it, so that probably helped. But like, there were a lot of new people, and I think storyboarding is like the big test of can you make this classic, and I think they did a good job.
Yeah. But like, going away from that, I love the backgrounds. Oh my god, it's so natural and it's so beautiful that like I worry going back to the original cartoon and I'm like, wait, why did the backgrounds look different?
Yeah,
but
the
actually
so
these
good.
these backgrounds look amazing, and it's just like Adventure Time could have had us like not to hate on the original background art style, because it is charming and it was beautiful, but now that I've seen this, I need it all the time. I really love it, and it's inspired me so much to draw, and it's just so beautiful, and I'm really happy about it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Is the original Adventure Times art budget not good enough for you now anymore, Dom?
No, don't tell people. Don't misconstrue my words. I love the original Adventure Time still, and the background art's still good. It's just different. Like they're both different. They're both good, but I think BMO background art, mwah.
Yeah, it was
Beautiful.
awesome.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes. Good.
absolutely agree. I had to pause every few moments watching it this morning because there was just so much detail constructed in each background. The rabbit burrow, space itself, everywhere inside of the drift just looked absolutely gorgeous, and it's a step above Adventure Time's usual quality for art, I see. And even the character designs were a level above what's usually done for background characters. So I agree absolutely, the art was gorgeous in this episode.
I love Buy My Eggs Bird.
What? Or I swear to God, I'll eat it myself.
Yes! Every time I hear the line, I'm like, oh, that delivery was good and that character design is good, so thank you, random bird person.
Do you think that the people of the drift also observe Golb?
Yes, because they do say,
Yeah, someone
say
said
on
it
the
at
glob.
some point.
It's the character
Yeah.
you just quoted.
Did you say
Yeah,
she
gold
said-
or glob?
She
Yeah.
said she
They
said
said
gold, but
Glob, I think, yeah.
the
gold.
bird said glob. No, I meant by she I meant you, Tipsy.
I'm getting my mythology mixed up.
Well, that's okay. I was just I was like, those are two different conversations, so I had to ask.
Yeah.
Do you think the birds on the drift worship Satan?
Yeah, of course.
I do.
100%.
Well,
Back
what about-
to talking about background stuff. I remember, I can't really find it now because not everything loads on the Tumblr page right now. But there was some King of Ooh concept art thing of a really cool, like weird computer-looking alien. And then I was like, "Yo, where is that in the episode?" Then when I rewatched the episode, it literally runs past the camera within like less than a second.
What the?
Are you
like-
serious?
It's amazing that they it's a fully designed thing that they had different models for and everything, and it's there for less than a second.
So can I piggyback off of what you've been saying and talk about like the thing that I liked about it?
Yeah, I was going to say Tulip
because-
next because you complained about being last, so there you go.
Sorry. Like a while ago, when we were talking about doing this, Crown suggested that we would each bring like one thing that we like, one thing that we didn't like, and I don't know if we're still doing that, but I wrote down some vague things that I could talk about like that. And if I had to go with one thing that I did like, it'd be the like background characters, all the cool looking weird and different alien designs. Because overall, obviously I loved it. It felt, it had that Adventure Time energy down, but also stuff was different, and most of the stuff that was different basically appealed directly to the stuff that I like, being like space and aliens and having cool and weird and funny designs, and like I just kept really appreciating all the stuff in the background, like that didn't get a spotlight on them because there's no reason to, but like there's just so much cool looking stuff in there, and I love it.
Yeah, and it's like how Crown said, where like they still paid attention to detail for those things, even though they didn't like focus on it, like you said just now. It's just so good. Like you can really feel that they put like so much love and like care into it because they cared about random background designs and random background character designs, and I just appreciate it so much.
Definitely what Tulip said is like basically what like my favorite thing about it too. Like that it, like Adventure Time always had like a couple episodes with space stuff, and that was always like my favorite stuff in the show. And then this is just a whole 45-minute episode with that's just entirely that. So I love that.
I'll still like never forgive them for like making me believe they would be actually 60 minutes. They're 44 minutes instead.
Yeah, there's no commercials, and like so they should have like said 45
like
minutes.
When they said an hour long, I was like, oh, it's possible that it will be 44, but I was like, nah, it will be an hour.
But then no, they made it 44.
Yeah, breaking news. 4 new hour-long Adventure Time specials. New episodes are coming to your TVs.
That's what I mean.
It's
Yep,
not
on
quite what
our
happened.
TVs.
There are no commercials, so it's not an hour long.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they're made for the streaming service, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, like why even say that at that point? Like we know there's no commercial anyway.
Maybe they were hoping they'd be picked up by TV, but I doubt that was the reason. They just said hour long because it's fancier.
So is Cartoon Network a property that belongs to HBO?
No.
I'm not sure.
No,
I think
Well,
it's a partnership,
HBO is a
right,
property
Sean?
that. Sorry.
Did you
HBO
say...
belongs to Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers owns everything. Or Warner Brothers owns Turner, which owns Cartoon Network.
Ah, okay, that makes sense.
Glad you know that. Dang.
A quick tangent on the background characters. So we were talking about how like each character was just like had a second long of screen time. I really like Bugs and I really like Stag Beetle. So when those beetles, Darling and Sweetie, came on screen like for the first second, like when they were running away, I was like, oh my god, I need to take a screen cap of this cute little beetle and make it my icon right now before I forget to go back to take a picture of them. And then to my pleasant surprise, they became like an actual character in the episode, so I was so happy about that. That's just tiny happiness from me. I love their voices so much.
They're my favourite characters in the entire episode, to be honest.
Yeah. They're so cute.
So,
how about you, Tipsy?
well,
Do you have any thoughts you wanted to talk about?
yeah, actually, I actually have this entire little essay written down that I wrote whilst watching the episode this morning, and in the essay,
Wow.
I wrote down a bunch of questions for this discussion as well, and the first one was the general impressions. So I thought that it was fine. It was gorgeous, like we discussed, but I felt like, especially in the first half of the episode, it seemed to drag on a little bit. Like, the jokes weren't hitting hard enough, it wasn't getting you invested enough in this new world that it was introducing you to. So, as a 45-minute Adventure Time special, I'm sort of wondering how much was left on the cutting room floor, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I think that question could be answered by the volume of stuff that's being posted on like King of Ooh, like concept art. So much of that didn't get used. There's like a whole lot.
Yeah, there's absolutely tons of stuff. Like we posted it just a few minutes ago, actually, the robot houses, multicolour robot houses. Y5, it was originally going to be an adult by the looks of it. There's the jungle dome, which was supposed to be a jungle globe, and all of the designs for the fauna and the Blimpopotamus. Just tons and tons of stuff that it looks like they envisioned for this episode whilst they were figuring out what to do. But I feel like that contributes to how some of the scenes feel like they were small sections that were stapled together rather than a part of a cohesive whole, and that's especially the case for the first half of the episode. The second half, things really do pick up, and I'd like to talk about that shortly, but that was my general impression of Adventure Time BMO. I feel like it didn't quite reach its potential, humour-wise, in particular.
It's funny that like that's where like my bias shows for like being like a big fan, sometimes blind, because like I liked the humor the entire time. So I'm just I don't know, but I respect
I will say
your opinion.
I agree with Chan where I do like the humor the entire time. I understand the part where it feels like some parts are dragging, mostly because it's like we're following BMO fix the drift, and sometimes I'm like, is this super important for us to like see it right now? But I guess it is like a BMO centered episode, so but I did like a lot of the dialogue and a lot of the humor.
Yeah, I thought there were a lot of really funny BMO lines, like even in like the first half. Just like I thought BMO was great.
Yeah, the first half was really strong. I really like, but I'm so cute.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that was gold. That was so golden.
He died as he lived, sucking big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many good lines. Seriously. And also like like I think it was like BMO doesn't have feelings, and then like 2 seconds later it's like you make my feelings feel good or something.
Oh my god.
There is tons of stuff going on. What have I written down
I want to
here
talk
now?
about so many things, but I'm gonna wait to follow Tipsy's like outline because I'm gonna derail.
Oh, what do you think of the characters?
Do you want to start
Good.
with Tulip this time? Or are we
Yeah,
just...
start with
Tulip.
Tulip this
What do you
time.
think of the characters, Tulip? What do you think of BMO and Y5 and everybody else who was in the episode? There were
Mr.
tons of
M.
characters. And Mr. M was there.
Yeah. Well, of course, 2 or maybe 3, counting football, of the characters were returning. So it was nice to see them again. And then well, I get like in terms of new characters, there's Y5 who's cool, and there's Hugo. Like, and then other than that, I think that's pretty much the like major characters. Yeah, Martin. Hey.
It took
Martin,
me like
hey.
it took me an embarrassingly long time to figure out that was Martin. And by that I mean like
Okay, yeah.
halfway through the episode I figured it out.
It took me a while to like accept it. Like I figured that it was probably the case, but I didn't want to believe it because I thought that this wasn't a prequel. I thought it was a sequel to the series, and so I thought that like, but why would he be here? He's like dead more or less. Like
It took
Yeah.
until I spoke into the chat and you mentioned there was young Finn and Jake for me to realise that the episode took place in the past.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I didn't. My brother watched it with me, and he said, "Yeah, like, oh, so it's a flashback," and I was like, "Oh, I thought it was like BMO like time traveled because he was in space too long or something."
What?
Like,
I thought he
No,
went
that's
to
so elaborate.
I
What
thought
is
he
wrong?
went to a different universe, like, in the Adventure Time Ryan North comics where Jake goes into a dream world where Finn has stretchy powers. I thought it was something like that.
It was interesting to me that like when I realized it was a prequel, I was like I have to watch this again cuz like BMO doesn't really act like that until the latter half of the series, so it's
Yeah,
like,
that's the disconnect.
it's weird. I mean, like obviously it's just like whatever.
yeah, it is, but Marceline kind of also has that exact problem, where in the beginning of the show she acts differently, and then she developed into a different character. But then when they had flashbacks with her, she acted more like her modern version.
Yeah.
It's not a new problem.
Princess
it doesn't
Bubblegum
bother
as
me
well.
that much.
I do
for
want to
sure.
flex though
I'm Princess
that, to be fair, I really was looking for Mr. M to be Martin. So like the first moment he talks, his first line, I'm like, that's his voice acting. It has to be.
Yeah.
I'm not wrong. And
I
then he
recognized
kept
it, too.
talking. And then I was like, oh, it's Martin. And then I live tweeted about it. Haha. So I knew it was Martin, but I didn't know it was a prequel. I just thought like Martin, for some reason, was bored of the other world that he was brought to. And then for some reason he came back here. Or maybe he was kicked out. I was like, oh, like they thought he was an asshole and they kicked him out.
Ryan gets
what I
kicked
thought
out.
it was.
Ryan gets kicked out with enlightenment.
I liked how they handled him, because there wasn't like some big reveal. It was just like, oh, if
Yes!
you know it's Martin, then like that's a little treat for you. If not, he's just sort of a character in this, and it's just like,
Yes.
Yeah.
I did
It
want
was
to,
cool.
I did want to mention something, but I don't know if this is like gonna mess up your plans, Tipsy. But
No, it's not. Carry on.
I forgot what I was gonna say.
Jan!
Wait,
Gonna
give me
kill
like
you.
2 seconds. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Here we go. It's gonna happen. Something about BMO. We're narrowing it down. Oh my god.
Do you
Can I
think
say
it's about
something
Adventure
pointless in
Time?
the meantime,
Say it while
Chance
I
remembering?
say it while I remember. Go ahead.
Yeah, so like about the very end where like we see young Finn and Jake, like I had this, like, I don't want to say that like I called it, because I didn't, and there was nothing foreshadowing that, but I had this weird, like, right before it was revealed, like as BMO was falling to Earth, I had like the thought occurred to me, what if we see, younger characters? Like, what if it's actually the past? And then it happened, and it was like, I don't know, I was psychic for a few seconds. Like, I thought of
You
it just
were.
before it happened.
I remembered.
Can I just say I had an ungodly scream when Finn and Jake came out? I was like, oh my god, this is too cute. I screamed so loud I heard my dad and my brother laugh outside my room mocking me. Alright, Chan, what did you want to say?
I wanted to have a good old classic discussion about why the heck BMO doesn't seem like, clearly Mo sent him to Mars, so why did he act like he didn't know Mo and be more, if that was supposed to happen like before everything?
Yeah, I had the same bit of confusion. Like, it seems like Mo sent him to Mars, but in the canon of Adventure Time, Mo sent him to go and find a little boy to hang out with, and that could have been like any amount of time before the series takes place in, and he doesn't recognize Mo at all, so I don't know what happened there.
Like,
Every time he doesn't recognize Mo, I'm so confused, because he was boot up and he was looking up at him, right? And I'm like, do you have baby brain where you don't remember like when you were born? And then
Yes,
you
this
just...
is BMO we're talking about.
Yes, he has baby brain.
it's
Well, BMO has baby brain all the time, right? So does that mean he doesn't remember anything that happens?
He should, he's a robot!
To be fair, I didn't rewatch Be More since then, but I'm almost positive that he had no idea who Mo was or any of that. Like,
Yeah, he really didn't. He didn't even like, the only foreshadowing I can remember that that BMO doesn't remember Mo or doesn't know who Mo is Y5 asked who like, does he own you? And then Olive said yes, and then BMO was like, I'm no one's, and I'm like, but don't you know that you're Mo's? So that was the
it's kind
only
of a funny-
foreshadowing I saw.
I think that sounds just like a BMO line, just like I am.
Yeah,
no
it's just
one's.
a BMO line.
But
Yeah.
like,
It wasn't exactly I'm no one's, but you get what I mean.
it's weird though, because Adam on the AMA was really cryptic. Like, he was like, oh, who knows who sent him? And it's like, if everyone is guessing it's Mo, why be cryptic? So like, was it someone else? But it's weird because it was a Moko ship. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, he made it clear at one point. Not clear, but like cryptic in a way where he's like, "Oh, check the ship." I think he commented like, for a hint, go check the spaceship that BMO was on, and then it said Moko.
It's just weird because it doesn't. They're really good with like was it continuality?
Continuity.
Something like that. They're really good at that usually. So like I'm trying to piece together a good enough reason why BMO wouldn't remember Mo, and I'm just like big question mark. But that was one
I
of
know the answer, guys.
what is
Because
it?
he's got baby brain.
Yeah.
I mean, did I dream this, or was there a line where BMO or someone? Yeah, I think it was BMO was like, "I'll have to delete my memory again" or something. I swear he said that at one point.
Oh my gosh. What, he deletes files for fun, right? Maybe that's
Oh, you're right. He
That's
does.
a good point. Maybe he just deleted his own memory of Mo.
That's depressing.
Oh, that's so cheap. Come on, don't
Well,
do
that's
that
what
to
I mean,
the
like,
Adventure
that's-
Time.
I'm glad they didn't like say that, because that'd be kind of a lame a lame thing. But,
It's a lame excuse. Don't tell me you forgot your creator because you were deleting your files because it gave you a buzz. Come on.
yeah. But yeah, I was also really happy to see Finn and Jake too, and I scream more internally, Dom, so I think just like the entire house probably vibrated for a second, and people thought it was just like a rare Rhode Island earthquake, but it was just me. Of course, as usual, they make Jake absolutely hideous when he's young. Like,
Hey, no, I like this design. Don't at me.
they're
Look
just
at
like
his flannel jacket.
he just like it's just the hair. Both times they're like,
Okay.
they give him a ponytail, give him a mohawk. I'm like, Jake, why do you need hair?
You have fur all over you.
Yeah.
Maybe he's jealous of Finn's luscious hair. He's like, oh, my baby brother is starting to grow like really cool hair. I need to be cool as well.
But something that I was really surprised about that they confirmed in the AMA, which I really didn't expect him to do it, was that someone was like, does this mean Joshua and Margaret were already dead? And Adam Muto said, sad but true. So we got confirmation that...
Well, but the thing about that is that, like, we know exactly when Joshua died, and it was in season 3, right?
Are you implying it was the Dad's Dungeon thing? 'Cause
No.
Yeah, because wasn't the beginning of that episode, like, his death caused them to, like, get the message or whatever?
I don't... Well,
No, I don't think that's true.
he had died since then, and his like spirit sparkles, but like it wasn't that, like that wasn't him dying in the present. He definitely died like way before that.
Yeah.
I always interpreted it as, like, he had just died.
No, I mean, I didn't interpret it that
It
way.
could
and
have been.
And Adam
In
confirmed it wasn't.
in Billy's bucket list, they say they buried Joshua behind the tree.
Oh. Yeah. Hey, we're getting our Adventure Time big brains out right now.
But if they buried
was-
him behind the tree, then wouldn't that mean that they moved to the tree house before their
Didn't-
parents died?
I don't think they said
I think
the
it was a
tree.
different-
I'm pretty sure
I
they
think it
didn't
was a
say
different
the
Well,
tree.
yeah, they just said the. They cuts him off when he says the.
Yeah,
but-
they never specified where they buried him, but I mean, I'm pretty sure that checks out, like that he did, because something that was not to go into a Dad's Dungeon tangent, but when I first watched it, I thought Joshua, like when he was talking, like, oh, I put a big monster in here and it grabbed him, I thought we were about to see his like dead body in there. Like,
Oh my
but,
god, that's scary.
he was coughing in those messages, and Finn and Jake were babies, so I assume he died of some illness really early on. But anyway, this
I
is a
was gonna
BMO
say,
thing. This is a BMO thing.
Oh wait, no, this is still not BMO. I mean, well, it is
If it's
a
relevant,
tangent,
like
but
if it's relevant, yeah.
I was gonna say that, like, maybe it could have been that Joshua was supposed to die there, but they didn't fix the continuity because we're just finding out now that they're having problems with that, so... we blame
I
the
hope
Adventure
not.
Time.
I mean, like,
I'm kidding.
yeah, but no.
I'm pretty sure Joshua and Margaret might have just died of old age.
Yeah, I
I
think they
mean,
did
based
too.
on what they were doing and how they
Seems
handled
like it, yeah.
how they handled the alien in Joshua Margaret investigations, like they probably died just like someone sent them a little ticket and it was like, there's a monster in my backyard, and they just went and got eaten or something.
Yeah, that is very Adventure Time.
What's next, Tipsy? We need to be reined back in.
Okay, I'm gonna ram you back into this discussion. What were your impressions of the new deuteragonist Y4, aka Y5?
I love her. She's my child.
Oh,
I kind of
I
felt the
love
same
her.
way. I don't know. I think Adventure Time as usual is really good at just like being like, here's a new character you've never seen, and then like 10 minutes later you love them. And so they're really
Here's a
good
new
at that.
character you've never seen, but they feel so natural and like belonging in this world. I really like how Adventure Time does that.
Yeah, I've known Wi-Fi for like 10 minutes, but
Yeah.
But if anything happened to her, I'd kill everyone in the
Exactly.
room and then myself.
I think
Yes.
her voice actress is really good. I like her character, and yeah.
Yes. So me and Chan were discussing. We were going through the Reddit AMA together when it was live. And we were like,
Just
"Oh
sitting
man,
there
what do we
refreshing.
ask?" Yes, we were. I'm like, "Oh man, what do we ask? What do we ask Wi-Fi's voice actress? What do we Oh my god, I don't know, because Wi-Fi's character is already so clean and cut. Like there's nothing you can really ask about the character except for like praising how well she did it, because I feel like she's very solid. Like she is just a character and there's no like um she has no like darkness with her edginess. She has no edginess, so she's just clean cut and she's a good character and everything balances out with her.
And she probably
I really
eventually
like
became
Wi-Fi.
the ruler of the Drift, or mayor, whatever you want
The
to call
mayor.
it.
She eventually became a mad overlord.
Oh god.
Do you guys think that
Y6.
BMO and Y5 actually will meet up someday?
I'm wondering if in the other specials, like, I don't know if they'll do this, but I'm wondering if they'll ever have like 2 minutes for a quick like montage, like come along with me, ask sort of like little peek, and maybe BMO would go back and visit or something. I think that'd be cute.
Well, I don't know. Like, I'd love to see, what Y5 and the Drift are like in the actual, like, modern times of the show. Like, not flashback, but, like, during or after the time of the finale and last season and stuff. But, like, in order, like, there has to be a pretty good reason for them to show up in any way. And I feel like in order for BMO to, like, go back there, he'd have to remember that they exist. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't.
No, I don't think BMO even remembers Finn and Jake existed by the end of the
He
series
remembered
finale.
Jake, so
Is the
You know.
reason BMO doesn't remember Finn's names
Yeah.
because he deleted the file?
No.
That's just the answer to everything.
those writers,
Yeah.
man, they torture
No,
me.
I didn't mean
in
a
the
thousand
best
years
way
in the future. I meant
possible.
in the modern time of whatever.
What'd you say?
Sorry, Tulip?
What were you saying, Tulip?
Well, you were saying, BMO probably doesn't even remember Finn and Jake in the future, and I'm like, yeah, but I was talking about, the not the 1,000 years in the future, but like
Oh,
the
yeah.
modern times of
Yeah.
the show,
BMO would go on like holiday for one day and then forget about Finn and Jake.
Mm-hmm.
I love that, like, the writers torture me. It's in the funniest way possible. Is they like the implication that BMO just forgets Finn is depressing and sad, but they probably just did it because they're like, oh, that'd be funny. Make him call him Phil.
Exactly. I feel like a majority of things at Adventure Time are just them being like, that would be funny, even though it's like a huge like lore thing.
Yeah, like, it's so
even
angsty.
Martin being in this episode, it's like, why not just put him in there? That'd be funny. We could get him back.
Yeah.
Like not
Hey,
because they had to, just because they like why not? It would make a little sense.
Hey, you know
We'll
that-
see what he was up to.
you know how we were going to do, that they probably went into the writer's room at the end of season 5 and went, you know how we were originally planning to have Finn's parents be locked up in the Citadel back in season 4? What if we did that, but his dad was actually just a massive tool and a complete bastard and ripped his arm off, and then and then it was really funny.
Listen, Adventure Time
Exactly.
crew loves daddy issues.
Even Y5 had daddy issues.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
I mean,
no,
less
she more had
specifically,
mommy
more
issues.
parents issues, but yeah.
It was so
Oh
funny
my God,
hearing Tom Kenny again. Just like on this
Oh my
character.
god, Chen, I was gonna say the same thing. Well, because we were talking about Wi-Fi's parents, but like, Tom Kenny had like 2 roles in that episode, right?
He played
Yeah.
the octopus guy who looks after the
Lards.
space
The
lards.
lards.
The lards, yeah. And he plays as the dad, I think.
Yeah, it's just crazy to me how they're like, we need to have you in the show. I know Ice King isn't here, I know Simon isn't here, but you need to voice act for us. He was like, okay.
I still have hopes that Simon, or depends on the timeline, obviously, but I have hopes that Simon or Ice King will be in the Wizard City episode. Maybe. Like,
Please.
it's just weird, because, like, I guess, because it makes sense that if he had, like, a minor role, that they wouldn't put him on the front cover, like, because he's not, obviously, in the promo art. I was like, I think people would be mad if they put him in the promo art and he had a minor role, so I'm hoping he just has a minor role.
Yeah.
I feel
It
like
would
he
be a pleasant surprise.
I feel like he would. I feel like that's one of those things that they must know that they can't disappoint people about it. Like, even if he's in it a little bit, I think he'll end up in it somewhere. Whether he's Ice King or Simon, I don't know.
I hope he
but
shows
Or
up in the
Gunther.
opening
I can't see
episode.
them not putting him in this at all.
I started freaking out that all of the episodes would be flashbacks, because I was like, I kind of like that, but I also don't like that. But then I'm pretty convinced now that the last episode, at least, is not a flashback and it's post finale, because they, ever since they updated the art for like Y5's shirt to be the right color, and they seem to like really hone in on like the clothes they're wearing, like Marceline's outfit and everything. Finn has that new arm, so I'm just guessing that it's after the finale because of that. So I'm excited.
What was the third episode again? Was it Peppermint Butter?
Yeah, Wizard City.
Yeah.
Well, there's no way the Pep-Butt one is a flashback, because they say, like, relearning magic in the synopsis.
Yeah,
and,
if you
like,
reread the synopsis though, with the like thing in your brain, like, oh, this might be a prequel, it actually does sound like a prequel, where it's like he goes to school for magic and like some stuff happens. Nothing about it says relearns. I thought it said relearns.
Wasn't
also.
it relearn?
No, yeah, it does.
I'm gonna check.
Maybe
right
they
here.
changed it.
And it also says, like, because of his dark past, which, we've don't know a lot about, but we've seen him do dark magic in the show, and then he got his memory wiped, and now he has a past of that.
Is that person in the promo art Abracadaniel or the same species of someone?
The very
Nobody
phallic
knows.
looking species of wizard.
I remember for, like, a long time, like, the AT Wiki classified Ice King's race as wizard.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my god. I mean, technically, yeah, he can't be human because he's imbued with magic that keeps him alive.
I'm reading one of the old
Yeah.
articles, and it does say Peppermint Butler starting over at the beginning as just another inexperienced wizard student. So I guess that does mean it's not a flashback, I guess.
Provided the article is accurate and not entirely inaccurate, like those two promo arts that we looked at that look completely different for some reason.
Yeah, but it looks like the new one is like, okay, we've already made like the old one was more of a concept art thing, and then they've made the episode since then. So I'm
Yeah.
like, the new one seems more accurate.
I'm just surprised why they had to redraw the whole thing. I'm like, if you were gonna redraw the whole thing, why not make an entirely new poster? But that's just me.
Yeah. So, Crown, you've been rather quiet. I was looking to ask, what are your thoughts on the characters, and in particular on the utility of Y5, the new Deuteragonist character?
I like all the characters. I particularly like Hugo, even though he's not in it that much. I feel like they give him a lot of character, even though he's like mainly even just like his voice. I think is really really good.
He was really
like
funny.
he seems really smarmy and jerkish, even though he has very few lines. I really liked him.
Can we talk about
But,
Hugo? Yeah. Just like what?
I want to
What
talk
are your
about
thoughts
Hugo.
on Hugo?
I think it was interesting how, when he was introduced, he seemed like, because I mean, when you see all the Hugo mats and his name plastered everywhere, he seems like obviously is going to be the villain. But then you meet him and he seems like pretty chill, actually.
Yeah, exactly. I
But
felt
then
the
he is
same
the villain
way.
at the end. I don't know. It's interesting.
Oh,
Can
yeah.
we talk about that flashback, though?
Well, yeah, I was gonna say I want to make sure we discuss like what the implications of Hugo are. Is that what you're about to say, Dom?
No, I was just gonna make note of the water park prank artist.
I was
We'll-
so happy
we'll,
to see
we'll
that.
talk
Yeah.
I
about
thought
the
that was so
we'll
funny.
talk about the water park prank section in a minute. So, what are the implications of Hugo? Did you say?
Yeah, well, I was just saying like to get the timeline right. So he came from
Okay.
Earth and then literally.
So he came from Earth, I'm guessing like as a lesser competitor compared to Mo because
Yeah, like an off-brand
Seago,
Mo.
yeah, an off-brand Mo. And then he went to space and then so here's what I didn't understand. Tree Trunks's if Tree Trunks is like alien boyfriends, that's what they were, right?
Yeah.
Those were the gray aliens. The gray
Yes.
aliens were the boyfriend of Tree Trunks. If they all coughed and died that one time, how did they live to see Tree Trunks in the present?
I
day?
assume
here's
it's just
the
the same race.
Yeah, no, they
Yeah.
didn't all die, but I think perhaps it did introduce sort of a disease or something like that was causing a lot of them to die, and that's why they needed to make hybrid babies, which is why they went to visit Tree Trunks, so that they could keep their species alive in some way.
That
Ooh,
episode is a
Oh.
fever dream to me, man. I need to rewatch it. I was like, oh my god. Like, I don't know. If someone's ever like, oh, I don't like Adventure Time, it's too weird. If they like cited that episode, I'd be like, yeah.
Oh, High Strangeness is one of my favorites, though.
No, I don't
I
mean
love
to.
High
It's a funny
Strangeness.
episode, but like if someone was like, that's too weird, I'm like, yeah. But yeah. So
It's
Hugo,
not,
like,
yeah.
I think he needed to be like, what did they say? Biohacking
He needed to turn.
them or
Yeah, he
something?
needed to
Yeah.
biohack himself to be like the aliens, and then they became the elf hybrid.
Yeah.
Yeah, so to benefit himself, he like killed all of them. So I guess that was just sort of
Yeah.
an introduction to how he is. But
Now, did we ever figure out what benefit that gave him?
I think it's just because
He-
humans
longevity.
can't be in.
That's what it was.
Sorry, what, Tipsy?
It was longevity because he was a normal human and he'd have died in like 30 years. But
That's true.
But the reason that's stated in the show is that he benefited from the longevity of the elves, and I don't think he did it himself either. I think they did it to him at his request.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It seems like they were offering to do it, but
No,
like,
so
it was
what
still
happened in the
dangerous for them.
Yeah, what happened in the flashback is they were like they like offered they presented the option to him and like, oh yeah, you can do this, but we highly recommend against it because it's dangerous to biohack you. And he was like, I'm gonna do it anyway.
it
and
seems
then,
like that's what he does. Is he tries to make other people like he tries to victimize, or at least he's just like, well, this is your choice, so like it's not my
Yep.
fault, sort of thing.
Yep.
But I have to bring something up on the topic of this guy because I still haven't pieced this together as like exactly what Olive is about. Like,
Yeah,
I think
I was gonna say that too because I saw somebody on Twitter like saying that same thing. Like, like they like the whole episode, but that thing at the end doesn't make any sense.
like
Oh yeah.
Olive seemed to like when they scanned BMO and like saw the heart, they were like like they were like, this is what I've been looking for. And then like, sorry, my phone's vibrating. I don't know how loud that was. But then like at the end, like Olive seemed to go back to Hugo, and I think Adam Muto was actually answered that and like was like, that was Olive being like, I know you're not a bad dude, but I'm like, what? Like what? I don't.
So I think what happened is Olive did save all of them, right? By like putting them under a beam and
Yes,
finding
yeah.
them.
Like what we know from the episode is that Olive is like a drone that was made by the Drift people. Like that, like the Drift is the source of those drones, but most of them were old and dead, and Olive is like the only one remaining. And I think maybe even was the only one remaining back when Hugo and friends arrived.
Mhm.
And like they were basically gonna die, but Olive found them and saved them. And then
And then I think what happened is when Olive brought them to the Drift, Hugo
It was
still
already-
kept being an asshole.
The drift was already on the verge of collapse when
Yeah.
Olive brought. So it's possible that he thought that Hugo's gang would help the drift, and then he saw BMO and thought that BMO might be able to help the drift. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
if you look at the end of the
That's what
episode,
I'm thinking
that's
now,
not
too,
the
that
Oh,
we're
case.
talking
I'm trying to
about it.
remember. I'm trying to remember how did Olive get to like really far away in space to like to Earth basically.
Didn't-
Between Earth and Mars, which is where BMO encountered Olive. And
It couldn't do that itself.
Didn't off-brand Junkyard BMO say what happened?
Seago.
yeah. Olive
yeah.
was turned like Olive turned itself off, and then did BMO bump into it at the beginning of the episode, and then it turned on?
I
something?
believe so.
Don't
Yeah, we should have
remember.
done a rewatch before this.
Yeah.
But
Tipsy,
I've got
Um,
the episode up. Let me look.
basically, I think Olive had expectations from Hugo that Hugo didn't meet, and like that's why you see Hugo being weird around Olive. Like when Hugo first saw BMO and held him up, Olive floated next to Hugo, and Hugo was just like, "Oh," and and then awkwardly walks away with BMO. I think it's because he's embarrassed whenever he's around Olive for some reason, because I don't know, Olive was expecting stuff from Hugo, and that's why at the ending, Hugo does that spiel where he's like, "You still think I'm a bad guy?"
Yeah, it just confuses me why Olive still like why Olive is so attached to Hugo. Like, what is the string connecting the two there?
I just think it's because he saved him.
It's cute, but it's not. It doesn't read well. Like
I think that
it's cute, but give us the lore.
That's another reason I think some things might have been cut or changed around. Like, it would imply that Olive is a bot that Hugo made if it was going to just be attached to him in that way.
No, that's definitely not it.
Yeah, but that's not the route they went with.
Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, that's what happened in the ending. So that scene in the ending confused me. Like, why would the robot suddenly want to hang around Hugo and want him to not die, for example? Like, that other elf was blasted into space and he died, and that was hilarious, so...
Well, actually, I was going to mention earlier, maybe one of the benefits they got from biohacking was not dying in space, because when they cut to him, like, he wasn't dead, he was just, like, upset.
Wow, BMO,
Yeah.
you single-handedly saved everybody in the space station. And it's just him floating to his death.
I don't know. That sounds like something funny in the first half of the episode, Tipsy.
There we go. So they didn't want to leave him on, like, a miserable note and just have the episode end with... They wanted to make it bittersweet or something. Doesn't work very well, but there you go.
Doesn't work super well.
Because when I first watched it, like, what that ending implied to me is that they would come back. But now, like, then it's immediately a flashback, and I'm like, okay, they probably won't. But, like, that's like a sort of ambiguous ending that reads to me like they'll return, but they probably will not.
Dom, do you remember what Adam said about... Adam said something about, like, how the episodes would, like, chronologically fit?
That's what I was thinking too. He said they'll have some continuity. Like, what does that mean?
I have no idea how that could possibly be a thing.
Because I know a lot of the board artists and stuff that I follow on Twitter, I remember seeing, like, a lot of drawings of Y5 and Olive, and it's like, would they draw them so much if they're only in this one episode? Like, I don't know. So, like, I have this vague assumption that maybe some of this stuff will come back. But,
well, yeah, okay, so at the end of BMO, Hugo and Olive were, like, you know, drifting through space together. It is not impossible that they would end up in OO on Earth and, like, show up in the other specials.
It's funny because I'm just like, I'm not like that into the idea. I'm fine with them not showing
Yeah,
up.
me neither, really. Like, I want the other ones to focus on the characters they're about, because I want to see them again.
That's what
I don't
I mean.
necessarily want them to get sidetracked about Hugo, but also I'm open to it. If they do it well, maybe it could be good.
All the episodes are going to be about space, right?
I thought so in the beginning.
Yeah, I thought so, but now it doesn't seem like it, right?
I mean, the third episode is literally in Wizard City, so that's a no.
Are you sure
right?
that?
Yeah,
Are you sure Obsidian's about space? I know PB was in, like, an astronaut costume at the start, but that might have been a leftover as well. So.
Well, the original art had the Glass Kingdom in the background, and it looked like it was in space. So.
Maybe
Also,
it's
by
just
the
a
way,
red herring.
By the way, I just because I said I would do it like a minute ago, I looked back in the episode to Olive's first appearance. Like, she's, like, deactivated and floating in space, and then she gets bumped by one of BMO's potatoes, and then she perks up and was like, "Oh, hello, who's there?" and sees BMO, and it's like, okay, cool, there's a BMO over there.
It was the potatoes the
I
whole
see.
time.
Could be.
In terms of the next episode, though, I'm wondering if that one will be a prequel, because I'm like, maybe it's like, because there's all this history that Marceline and PB have that we always hear about and never saw, so I'm wondering if that's what it's going to be.
I hope so. I really hope so.
I
Do
don't
you
know,
hope
like,
so? I feel like a lot of people don't want that.
I'm
at all.
hoping so much that it's not a prequel, because it being a prequel is, like, that would be an excuse they could have for not, like, having PB and Marcy explicitly be in a romantic relationship.
No, I feel that too.
I think it's
I'd
just
be
got
excited
flashbacks. It's not a prequel. It's just got flashbacks inside of it. In a future episode, like varmints.
Like as long as it has like
flashbacks would be
after
good,
finales.
but like
Yeah.
there has to be something of post finale bubbling. Like,
Well,
there just has to be.
the thing that Dom just linked actually is what did he say? Adam said, "I'm not really a super fan of prequels unless they take place hundreds of years or thousands of years apart, but using BMO specifically made sense." So it sounds like he didn't want prequels except for the BMO one by that, in my opinion. So.
Yeah. Like in general, in my opinion, it's pretty unlikely that any of the other episodes are going to be prequels. And as we discussed, especially Together Again probably won't be. However, if another one was going to be, I would want it to be that one, because as we've talked about before, it'd be great to see an episode about young Finn and Jake.
I'm really hoping Together Again. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not a prequel, but I think flashbacks would serve it really well. Because as the series went on, I was like, how have you not done flashback episodes? Like, I want to be destroyed by the fact that, like, they lost their parents dealing with that, and then, like, maybe Finn and Jake kind of drifted apart a bit when Jake got all scummy and robbery. Robbery. But I always headcanon that, like, Finn was the reason why Jake stopped doing all that stuff. Like, maybe Finn was that, or maybe Finn was trying to emulate Jake and he was getting hurt, and Jake's like you shouldn't do this stuff, and Finn's like, well, you do it, and then it's just like, fine, I'll stop if you stop.
Yeah, Finn punches an old woman and steals her candy, and then Jake's like, enough is enough, I'm leaving the gang.
But anyway, BMO discussion.
Yeah, quick tangent on Hugo, but I love when that elf dies in space. I mean, he's not dead, but he's just drifting angrily. Golden scene. Beautiful. You single-handedly saved everyone.
There were a bunch of hilarious quotes in the episode. I wrote a bunch of them down. One of my favourite characters was Y5's mother. What was her name?
I have no idea.
KS2.
KS2.
KS2? Yeah.
Yep.
I thought she was quite interesting. Now, I wasn't a massive fan of Y5 or how she was handled. I wasn't a fan of that she seemed to be like a very normal character, like a very normal protagonistic character in this amazing Adventure Time world. And whilst that's fun, if the normal person is like Hugo, in that they're really funny because of how normal they are compared to BMO, I didn't find Y5 that funny. There was some parts where there was some funny jokes, like when she says, I wonder if I chose a name for myself, because her name is Y4, and then she names herself Y5, and that's just very Adventure Time.
It's so good.
Yeah, you know what? Can I say that joke would have landed better if we didn't already know that her name was Y5 because of the promo stuff?
Yeah.
I didn't remember, so the joke landed great.
Yeah.
It just gave me confusion because, like, I had subtitles on the whole time, and so the subtitles said Y4, and I was like, I'm about to tweet about this. They misspelled her name, and then she actually says Y4 verbally, and I'm like, what? Am I wrong? What?
I see what you mean by that for sure, but I did enjoy, like, I don't know, this character that's clearly like, I mean, her parents are like kind of abusive, and then like BMO sort of shows up and shows her that she can be more than just like her parents' weird errand monkey, and it was fun to see this sort of normal-esque character with BMO like over the top. Like, I think they worked really well together, and I think that was one of the reasons why her being so normal worked for me. What is that? Is that a? Oh God!
First,
No, what the heck is that?
It's cake.
This is savagery. Now I've got to share this in a podcast.
On the topic
Yes.
Y5's parents, like, obviously, like, I'm not expecting, like, that much with, like, this topic, but, like, it always bugs me in media when, like, because the mom the whole time was, like, pretty, like, emotionally abusive
bitch.
to her, and she was really, like, you know, she did not care, and then, like, I know it's just, like, a self-contained story, but by the end she was like, you were right, I really do love you, Y5, and I'm like, can you just make... can you... Adventure Time gets a pass, because Martin sucked the whole way, but I'm like,
Yeah.
I wish it wasn't such a turn, like...
Yeah, like,
a-
at least be, like, still, like, you know, like, make it how real life abusive parents are. When sometimes they do realize they're shitty, they don't go all the way, you know? Like, it's
I think- Sorry, go ahead.
continue.
Sorry.
Oh, okay. Whenever, like, parents, whenever shitty parents IRL, apologize, it's usually, like, a terrible apology. It's like, oh, I'm so sorry, Y5. We just thought you were, Oh yeah, no, it would go something like, I'm so sorry, Y5. Usually you're just so unreliable. Something like that. It's
Yeah.
not a real apology.
Yeah.
And I wish it could have been done like that, because
If
it's
they
more realistic.
really wanted, like, even this might be, like, not the most realistic thing, but if they wanted to make it subtle, they could have the mom sort of, like, clearly not wanting to admit she was wrong, but she could make an excuse, but then at the end she could maybe, like, call her Y5 to show that, like, she's at least sort
Trying
of...
to change, yeah, you know.
Yeah, like, it's like the thing that happened actually affected her, like, so she called her by her preferred name, which would have been good, but whatever. It's just a nitpicky thing for me.
I think it's because they wanted... Oh, sorry. Tulip, you go first.
One of the things that I had written down was that, like, yeah, they... Like, it didn't occur to me that, you know, their turnaround was, like, too quick, but I will say they didn't, like... One of the things I wrote down was that they didn't deserve to be forgiven at the end, which, I mean, they didn't really go into it, but I kind of got the impression that Y5 did forgive them and wanted to work together with everyone to rebuild the drift, including them. And, like, yeah, talking about it, you know, you talking about all this now makes me think, like, it would have been handled... It would have been better if they handled it how you were saying. Where they sort of had an arc of trying to, you know, maybe realizing that they were wrong instead of just...
I absolutely agree that this was handled in a weird way. I actually wrote down, it was one of the first things I wrote when watching it earlier, an entire paragraph where I said, something bothering me about this episode, Adventure Time's resolutions for bad parents is usually that they don't change very much, and at best the kids make peace with their situation or stand up against their family. Y5 and her parents full on have a change of heart, which seems more like something you'd find in the Steven universe. I'm not arguing that she should have stayed in her shitty position forever, but it doesn't feel that natural that a mother suddenly apologised for everything. There's usually a but stapled on the end for that additional dark humour.
Exactly.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
I really think
if I didn't get sidetracked talking about Hugo, I was absolutely going to bring this up. Like, this is probably the one thing that, like, I know for a fact I don't really like that much about the episode, is that, like, Y5 could have been built up better, sort of. Like, you know, they're trying to do something with her, but it's kind of all very, like, she's fun, but it's all kind of very generic.
It sort of compounds with the fact
will,
that she's a bit of a plain character as well, and she doesn't mesh very well with Beam. I might be alone in this, but I don't think she meshes very well with BMO. He's not as funny when he's talking to her.
Ooh, I see. Well, before I talk about Y5, I will say that I think this is very cheap. Like, I'm not trying to excuse the crew, but I think it's because, like, they did decide that they didn't want anything to end badly. Because with Martin being a shit and with him still being shitty forever and having a shitty resolution, I mean, in a good way, because parents are shitty. It makes sense because it's like a series. Like, they can talk about him again next time. But for this, I feel like they were like, we don't wanna revisit Y5's parents again, so we need to make the audience feel like they have things resolved. And so that's what they did, which is, we want a happy ending for everyone, including Hugo. So it would make sense for the parents to have a happy ending as well, where Y5 doesn't hate them anymore. I think it's a cheap cop-out. I think they could have done it better.
Like I said, like, they could have still done that, but made it, like, less
Exactly,
obvious.
like we've been saying, they could have had them, maybe take a step towards, the right direction,
Yeah.
but not all the way there. And Wi-Fi could have said something like, well, I don't really forgive you yet, but we can work our way towards it.
Yes, even Wi-Fi just saying that, like, if they were going the route of the parent absolutely going, oh, we're so sorry, Wi-Fi, we just wanted to, like, live in a better place with you. And then Wi-Fi could have been, like, uneasy about that, been like, you've done a lot of damage, but we're gonna work together, right? And then
One of the lines that made me roll my eyes was like how fast the mom changed. It was like I don't remember what she saw, but she was like Y5 or Y4 was right, and then the dad was like, I've never heard you say that, and I'm like,
It's when everything started collapsing after she gave the USB cable back to Mr. M.
Exactly. She was so clearly against believing that Hugo was bad, and then the second something goes wrong, she's like, Y4 was right. I'm like, no, you would make excuses to the end of time.
Yeah, exactly. She would be like, there's no way this is connected to Hugo.
She'd
It has to
probably
be
blame
something
that
else.
on Y4 somehow. Like, Y4 is breaking down the drift again.
Yes, that would be so much more in character for her.
I don't know if this is a fair way to look at the episode. I try not to think this way, especially with Adventure Time, but sometimes I try to step back and I'm like, well, if they're writing this, because I don't think Adventure Time writes like, oh, we're gonna write for kids, like, but I'm like, sometimes I'm like, well, I'm a 25-year-old being like, well, they weren't subtle enough with the relationship stuff. I'm like, maybe they're trying to, I don't know. I don't think that's a good excuse though, being like, oh, they're trying to make it more obvious for like a younger audience, because I don't like the idea that the younger audience should be like sheltered from the fact that parents can be crappy, which is why I liked
And it's like
Martin so
they
much.
never did it before either. Like we're saying, all the other arcs weren't like that.
Yeah, and I wonder if that was kind of part of like the fact that there was so many new people, but I don't know. Adam was on it, and you'd think if he had a big problem with it, he'd be like, nah. But whatever.
I will say I still like Wi-Fi because I feel like she did her purpose well, but you guys are right. I think they could have fleshed her out more. As her own character rather than just BMO's sidekick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because she didn't work very well with BMO, and she wasn't a very strong character by herself. They had the inklings of like a potential character with her being a science nerd, but there was nothing biting about her, nothing captivating about her, and the fact she wasn't that funny didn't help either, so...
I think, like I said earlier, like, I had, like, kind of a different opinion. I see what you mean, but, like, the fact that she's there... It's kind of like, to give an example of, like, maybe The Office, like, the Jim type of character, where it's like, we have a character that's, like, sort of normal, and then this character that's super over the top. Having that normal character there to, like, question what BMO's doing makes what BMO's doing, like, that much more, like, whoa, like, someone's here, like, being like, wow, this isn't okay, you shouldn't be doing this, and it makes BMO's thing, like, kind of more over the top and funny when you have someone there for reference, I guess, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why I think she did serve her purpose. But Tipsy's making me think like, oh, could they have written her a little bit better than her like sidekick character?
I mean, no, absolutely.
I mean, yeah, anything could have been better, but I didn't dislike Wi-Fi at all.
Yeah, the only issue with my line of thinking is that you can go down the rabbit hole of internally making that criticism.
Haha, rabbit. Because Wi-Fi.
Can I talk about a small continuity mistake that bothered me a little? Yeah, so, like, the map of the drift that was on Mr. M's hard drive, that Wi-Fi had downloaded onto BMO and also onto Olive at one point, I think. Like, anywhere, like, that's where the MacGuffin was. Like, when she confronted Hugo in front of everyone, it was BMO who was projecting it big. But then after Hugo left, Wi-Fi had the map just in her watch, and she just projected it from there, and I don't know how she got it into her little watch.
I didn't even notice that.
What I don't know is why the hard drive was in the Hugo map machines.
Oh my god, that's so... Yeah, I felt the same way. Like, it would have made sense if, like, I don't know, they, hacked it and got some information because it's connected to, like, the big brain of... the big, whatchamacallit? Big server of Hugo. And that's how they got the data. But no, they didn't hack it. They ordered a USB on it, and I'm so lazy. It's so lazy.
It's really nitpicky. But that whole scene where like when Y5 goes into that Martin's room and like she very slowly figures out what's going on. It's like the moment that map showed up, I knew what was going on. It takes like a minute for her to figure it out. It's like it's very easy to read. They didn't have to have her like be like, wait a second, BMO took the thing. That was the thing making the power work. Oh
Yeah,
no, like I knew that.
It
I
could
think
have been
that's
rerouted to BMO.
I think that's another case of just like they know they have a lot of younger viewers and they want to make sure they understand.
Yeah, probably. I just found it
because I
weird.
feel the same way. Like I'm never a fan when they're like something's really obvious and the character's like, "Whoa, hello audience, this is what's happening." Like I think that's like a classic rule of show don't tell.
I think it was definitely important to show BMO taking the gem and then the place dying, the jungle like pod dying.
Ooh,
but I think
that was
I liked that
beautiful.
part a lot.
yeah, no, but I think like maybe to your point that they could have sort of just condensed to the scene where Wi-Fi was looking at the map to just that her seeing that happen, and then that's how it gets across to the audience.
That would have went really well actually if they like cut between the scenes, like Y5 realizes what's happening and then BMO has like you see like the things dying and then you kind of figure it out from there. I love the jungle pod thing. It was a good cool area.
You guys know I love the jungle pod area. Oh my god.
Well, yeah, that
so
scene
beautiful.
with BMO, kaplooing. That's a word. Like, I love the callback to like the, I guess, different colors of BMO from the previous episode.
I love the callback to like Finn losing his arm. Like that whole scene was like very deliberately framed similar
I didn't
to
even
that.
notice that, but you're right.
I have one of my favorite lines from the special was like I don't even remember it exactly, but one of BMO's like colors was like, "Well, now your only job is being dead," something like that.
Yeah.
Where he's like, "It's my job to save the drift." He's like, "Well, your only
Did
job
anyone
now
else
is
find it
being
a little
dead."
bit odd that like those two bugs dragged all of BMO's parts like out of the jungle pod off
How
screen?
did they? Oh yeah.
I thought of that was weird on my second watch, but
Well, they
I don't know.
said didn't they say they got it through like a vent or something? I'm pretty sure they deliberately said how they.
Yeah,
did it.
and they're two tiny bugs, so it does
Well-
make sense. But I really want.
Literally a thunderstorm.
This
Sorry.
scene was absolutely amazing. I watched it like a couple of hours ago. So, the scene where he removes the Genesis crystal from the center of the jungle, and then the plants all die, but they come back to life and then die immediately and come back to life. That was
good.
chilling repetition.
Oh, and then the sound effects they had together with it, there was like this ungodly screaming from the
Yes.
plants. It was so good.
Awesome.
Yeah,
It was like
that was probably like my favorite scene of the special.
It's not. I'm not sure if it's obvious, but I'm plugging myself in. You don't need to add this to your video, but in that drawing I made, I'm not sure if it's obvious. Let me get it. But like the plants outside are like vibrant and colorful, but as you go inside, it gets more and more gray because that's the color of like the dying plants. And I really
Oh, I didn't notice that. I'm stupid.
yeah,
Good job.
and I specifically chose like the monstrous plants for the inside layer, like the one that looks like mouth with like sharp teeth. I really love that. I really love that area. It's just so good.
I think your drawing looks really good as well.
Thank you.
They did something similar when BMO quote unquote died. He envisioned himself shattering, then he was put back together, and then he shattered again, and it was like this
Yeah.
horrible brain death scene. It was terrifying.
Oh my god, it's so good. Oh my god.
That just made the episode for me. That just made it worth watching that 40 minutes, even through the sloppy parts.
BMO always bounces back.
And then BMO's dead.
His job is now to be dead.
The only thing is that we knew BMO would be fine because we've seen him 1,000 years in the future and he was fine. So he'd only
Yep.
not be fine if this took place 1,000 years in the future, which wasn't outside the realm of possibility when I was watching it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was the thing at the time. I was like, this is a sequel or it's after finale, so I really didn't know.
I just knew he wouldn't die because he's the main character.
Well, yeah, I wasn't like, oh my god.
That's it. I was chilled though because just the way they made the visuals in that part and the sound design was just mwah, perfect.
My brain immediately perked up when he first fell into the junkyard place and the bot was singing that like a he said like good night Seattle and BMO's like I know this song. I was like lore.
Yes.
Yes, that
They
was
were
the
singing
Frasier opening theme. I
yeah,
think?
it's the Frasier opening theme, and like I just love the like the continuity that they do sing TV show openings like Cheers, and there was another one. Which one was it? There's Cheers, Frasier, and something else.
Mr. Belvedere.
Is that it? I don't know what
I'm
that
trying
is.
to
Yeah, that's
remember
it.
when they sung the Mr. Belvedere theme, and I cannot remember, but I'm sure
It was
it
in
must
States.
have happened. That
But in Adventure Time fashion. Oh, sorry. Were you still speaking?
no, carry on.
I'm sorry. I thought you were done with your thought. Go ahead.
I actually can't remember what I was going to say.
Perfect. Neither can I. Oh wait.
Goddamn.
I remember. No, in Adventure Time fashion, I always like prepare myself for the episode to not like give any lore or move the plot. I always prepare myself mentally for it to just to be a silly one shot. So whenever they do throw lore in, I'm like,
Beautiful.
Me too. That's what made the episode for me is like I was like, oh, it's a BMO thing, so it'll be like cute. And then like not only did it have amazing visuals and aliens and stuff, but it had lore to it. So I was like, okay, this is not what I was expecting even in the slightest, and that made me love it.
I'm not sure if you guys know the YouTuber, but the person who voiced Seago was Simone Gertz. I don't know how to say her last name, but I love her content. Basically, she builds like shitty robots, and that's why she was casted as a shitty robot, and I love that.
Yeah, no, I'd never heard of her before, but I saw it afterwards, and I was like, oh, that's great.
I saw her reaction video of her being like,
Yes, I saw it too. It's so cute.
Just as a heads up, I have about 20 minutes left,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
We'll wrap up soon because this video is now going to be an hour and a half long. Amazing.
Nice.
I thought it was...
You're
You're gonna have to edit a lot of it.
but I'm not going to have to edit that much because you didn't really make that many noises that I need to cut out. So, what I wanted to talk before the end of the episode was the most important part of the episode. The David Ferguson cameo. How would you like it if they did if they animated the rest of the Adventure Time specials in the water park prank art style?
Just the fact that you're suggesting this, like, I know it won't happen, but the fact that you suggested it and the idea now exists in the universe makes me think that somehow, somewhere, this will happen, and for that, I will forgive you.
Yeah, I have to go. I need to leave. Goodbye. Tipsy, we're not friends anymore.
Oh. I was the Dom. Imagine bubbling episode and they kiss and it's it's just a prank art style.
Imagine if the whole episode was in normal Adventure Time, but then they're about to kiss and it just shifts to the other style for just the kiss. Like any.
I'm so upset. Imagine Finn and Jake reuniting, and the moment they hold hands, they turn into that art style. What do you think, Chan?
What if that's
For real,
just
though,
like
I think that art style worked a lot better in BMO than
As
it
a
did in Waterfall
flashback.
Prank. Like,
Yes.
I agree, but I was still like, get it away.
No, I laughed, when I saw it, because I was like, they have to know, right? Like, they have to know how people are gonna, how people felt about that, and so to be the one that they bring back, like.
They definitely know. The DVD didn't even have Water Park Prank on it.
What? Seriously?
It did?
I'm
Oh my
pretty sure
God!
that season that wasn't on it.
What do you think,
Well,
Crown?
I only ever watched Water Park Prank like once when it first came out, so I don't like remember it. But I'm notoriously a fan of bad art styles, so like I don't remember that episode at all. So I don't but I don't remember hating that. But particularly,
You're wrong.
like Tulip was saying in this episode, having it be the flashback, like it fits that really well to me. Like I thought it looked good. Like I didn't think that was. I thought it was very funny because I was aware everybody else was going to be so pissed off about it. But I think it fit really well, and I think it looked really cool.
Yeah,
like
no.
there was nothing unappealing about that style there to me.
I agree. I don't like the original art style, but it being a flashback, I didn't hate it. I was like, wow, finally, this art style works. And oh my god, they showed how the crater in the earth was created. Oh my gosh.
Like,
Yeah, it was like a man-made electrical thing.
yeah. Well, because like for a while we thought that it was probably the Mushroom War, right? But then we sort of
We saw the mushroom
saw
wall.
that.
I thought it was
Yeah.
the
You
comet.
see the mushroom
I thought it
bomb.
was the
Yeah, I
comet.
know. I was convinced it was the comet, but no, it was
But
just some
it's
new
not.
thing.
More
Well,
lore.
More
It's
lore,
just gonna
more
be-
lore.
Yeah, no, I mean it.
Add that to the 665-page
It's just going to be some
encyclopedia.
fucking experiment that Princess Bubblegum did 500 years ago that went horribly wrong.
Yeah, didn't
I
it
don't
flash
think
pink
so.
for a second?
I was
Do you
joking,
think the
but I'm
implication
terrified.
isn't?
I'm terrified now that might be the case.
Do you think I always like took that as it happened while the humans were still around, just like during the Mushroom
Yeah, no,
War?
it was involved. Like the Mushroom War was involved with it in some way. I think like it was
No, it'd be
probably an
wild.
experimental weapon. I don't know.
No, it'd be wild if that area of the world got so overtaken by the goo zombies that they just had to like make a weapon to kill them, but it was like way more powerful than they anticipated or something.
Ooh, that's scary. I like that.
Because
But
like,
don't
why
worry,
else would they
guys.
blow up the Earth like that?
The crater will be filled with Jake's expanding body.
I think that comic is the biggest brain thing that anyone's ever done. like to make me like a comic where Jake dies, I was like, I almost want this to be the last scene of the show. Like that was such a creative Adventure Timey thing and such a perfect like ending for him that I'm like, nope, canon. That's it.
Yeah,
But-
canon.
All the way down to
completes-
Bubblegum just plopping him in there, like
Yes! With her unamused face.
yeah, like what? But it was
Chan,
so
stop
brilliant.
projecting. Just because Jake completes your life doesn't mean he should complete the world in, like, the earth.
I don't know. Like if
I'm kidding, it's the best ending.
After all this time, you still choose to speak, Dom. Sorry, go ahead. Too.
like this topic's come up I feel like a couple times already, but the fact that it wasn't the Mushroom War and it wasn't the comet and it was this new thing that's not elaborated on at all, but like, do you think they're gonna sort of come back to that in the other specials?
I don't think they will.
That's what I felt, but then everybody in my comment section was really mad at me and said no, so I
What?
guess not.
Mad at you.
I think it
They
worked
were-
well to leave it there because it gave us a little bit of information, but it left so much room for speculation. But it's like we don't need to know exactly what it was. I think the speculation part about it is really fun. But
I just think it's very
Yeah.
Adventure Timey of them to feed us like a whole different lore out of nowhere, and then we hyper focus on it, but they're like, haha, we're never gonna show this.
like sometimes like you know you have so many expectations for something like that it's really hard to really make everyone satisfied. So sometimes it's better left to the imagination.
Yeah, and I think that's the approach Adventure Time takes to a lot of things, including like how did BMO get in space in the beginning.
I love open-endedness.
An example of that, which is not my opinion anymore, I love the Evergreen story. I think it's so creative and cool. But initially, when I was younger and Evergreen first came out, I was almost disappointed because I liked the idea that the crown was just like this evil thing that no one understood. And then when we got like a perfect explanation of why it was a thing, I was just like, I don't want that explanation. But you know, I've come to
Yeah.
love
But now it served so much lore with the elements.
right.
of the-
No, I mean, it's just because I had expectations that were different, but like I just like the fear of the unknown so much that sometimes when things get like explanations, I'm like sigh. But like I really love the Evergreen story.
Oh my god,
so.
guys! I was
This is
so.
like-
Oh, sorry. You go first because I'm.
Well,
doing
this is a tangent basically, but I like from that episode coming out, I liked the Evergreen story, but I did not and still kind of don't like Broke His Crown and how that like implies that everybody's just kind of chilling inside the crown. I want it to be torturous, but they just made it fun,
Wow.
and I didn't
No,
like
I like
agree.
it. You sadist.
Well, I always took that as like that they're not actually just sitting in a village. I think it's just like she's like, okay, this VR machine will make like a visual of like because it's like a bunch of brains trapped in a crown. I agree, I want it to be horrifying and torturous, but like I don't think they're literally in the crown just like, hey dude.
Guys, going back to water park prank animation.
Yes, the most important part of the episode.
Yes, the most important part of the episode. I was ready to have my big brain moment. I was looking at the flashes, and I saw a flash of green, a flash of pink, a flash of blue. I was just waiting for a flash of red or orange, and I would have been like, oh my god, it's the element colors, look! But they didn't do it, and so I can't make that my theory.
What was the fourth flash? Was there a fourth flash?
I believe there were only 3 flash colors, which was green, yellow, and pink. I might be wrong, just
3 out of 4 isn't, like, that doesn't disprove your theory, you know?
No, you have to have all 4, because it's symbolic that way.
Alright, never mind.
The elephant colours?
The element?
Is that what you said? The elephant?
No, I said element!
Oh!
Element colors. There's, fire, ice, slime, and candy. Which is, red,
Still the
blue,
funniest thing that anyone's ever
green,
done.
and
It's like,
pink.
we already have elements. They're like, let's just make candy and slime elements instead of, like,
Yes.
air and earth.
It's smart. It's so Adventure Timey.
I have also come to love the idea that, like, lumps are the anti-element, because it just, like, makes up, like, the lumps make up the universe. And
You
they're
know,
just so, like, against
yeah.
it all. But go ahead.
I don't know. I was just this has nothing to do with anything, but I feel like I wish Lumpy Space had been revisited like once after season 1 ever.
Mm-hmm.
I know, right?
I think it was shown in the
I
finale.
want to see.
You know,
the
I
Lumpy
never even
Space
realized
world.
that until right now. That they never went back to it.
Like in a flashback one time they went back.
They showed it in the
Ooh.
finale when Lumpy Space Princess became Queen of Lumpy Space, and she was like married to Lemon Grab. I can't get over that, by the way.
Yes. There's so much Lumpy Space and Lemon Grab fan art, by the way. I'm like, where are you guys coming from?
So, if we're actually going to be wrapping up soon, may I suggest that the final thing we talk about in the video is the things that we actually got right in our prediction drawing video.
Oh yes.
Oh my god!
I think that BMO was planning to sell potatoes on his potato farm to the Martians. So
Wow.
so you know when he sold a leaf to aliens in our video, that was like kind of correct.
Yeah, I felt the same way.
Yeah.
Like making organic things like a special thing. So in our video, he was buying stuff with leaves, and in the Adventure Time episode, he was on an important mission.
Yeah.
To give.
So of
potatoes
course
to
there
Mars.
was the time where he like almost got short-circuited from water.
Yes, he got which I believe is bullshit. What, like, is he water resistant? Like, why does he only
immediately thought of
spark?
your thing, Dom.
Thank
Yes.
you.
And-
I did too.
And then the other
I did
The other
too.
big thing that I noticed when I was watching it is that BMO did get his arm cut off by getting slammed in a door.
Yeah, but we only predicted that because
Oh
it was in the
my
trailer.
god! Wait,
was
was
in
it
the
in the trailer?
trailer,
I don't
the
know.
door was
I
not
don't
in the
remember it in
trailer.
the trailer.
Yeah, but his arm
You
didn't
cheaters.
come off in the trailer.
Yes, but it was like stretched and he was getting grabbed. I don't know, cheater.
No, I
love
believe we specifically said that like in that one that like his arm got his arm came off again after already having reattached it from the time we saw it in the trailer, which was accurate.
Yeah.
And it was in a
That
door.
was accurate.
That was that mine?
Yeah,
Was that
that was
my
yours, I think.
first? Yeah.
And then we have Martin, which we did guess because of the Mr. M thing at the end, like when we all drew together.
Yeah.
We drew Martin. We did draw Finn and Jake. I drew a last second Finn over
You drew
there.
Martin.
So-
Did
You
BMO
drew
get a gun?
Martin's sitting on top of BMO's ship. And that's very close.
Yeah, I don't think it was me who drew
Someone
it.
drew that, and it was very close. It might have been me, actually. I don't know. Yeah,
I
I
think
drew.
it was
I
you.
drew
It
Martin
was your
sitting on
art
top
style.
of BMO's ship, and I was very close to when he sat on top of Hugo's space pod at the end and was just planning to blast off into space that way.
Yes.
Did BMO ever get a gun?
He got the lava.
Yeah,
lava
he
gun.
got that like glue gun at one point. He was
Yeah, so
Yeah.
everyone,
Yep.
everyone did have
Yes,
guns.
we
Right.
predicted
They
it.
did it.
And we predicted that BMO would die. Several times! We predicted BMO would die several times, and he had that whole animation thing where he would be like, and then, oh my god, we're so
did
smart.
we get anything wrong?
Did we get anything wrong?
I don't think there was a taco, and like that was the crux of our whole thing. Like it all falls apart without the taco.
There are even crabs.
Yeah, there was no taco.
Oh yeah, there were crabs. Did we have crabs?
We had
We had a lobster, I think.
We had a lobster. Nice.
Oh,
We're so
the gas
smart, you
station
guys.
employee, yeah.
That flying crab thing.
Alright, so hire us next time, Cartoon Network. We'll be your writing team.
Yeah.
For the future reboots. Alright, do your sign out.
Okay, so
Tipsy.
thank you for watching the Adventure Time BMO review. We're going to call this a wrap tonight because we have places to be, and we'll see you again when the preview for Adventure Time Obsidian comes out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Together we will pray it's longer than 3 seconds of
Okay
voice.
then. Okay, say bye.
Bye. Thanks for watching.